Could we do a little rapid fire? I'll just name some tag teams that you
Yeah.
worked with. Just give me a 1-word answer. Give me a 10-minute answer, whatever you want. I'll just rattle them off. All right, Godwins.
Godwins. Awesome to work with. Probably one of our most favorite tag teams to work with. Did a lot of stuff with them. Henry didn't know his own strength at all. And Phineas was just fun to be in the ring with. You know, you were always getting a finger shoved in your ear, your nose, your ass. You know, he wouldn't kick out. He would just go, and then you would get off of him. So, I mean, you know, you didn't have to kick. He never had to kick out. He would just stick a finger in your ass. Just always a lot of fun. Even from the times when we did the country whipping matches and we had the 4 foot or the 4 foot whips in our hand that were, you know, that wide and, you know, really thick and stuff like that. We just went there and we would whoop the living shit out of each other. I mean, it was just fun. It was a good time. I'll never forget the one match that I'll never forget is when we lost the tag belts to them. It was at the pay-per-view. The agent calls us in and tells us we're going to, you know, give them the titles and everything else. And we're like, all right, see you guys out there. And he's like, whoa, wait a second. You guys aren't going to go over the match? We're like, no, we work each other every night. No. And that whole title match was on the flop, except the finish. You know, it was what the office wanted. So they were probably, you know, at first they were probably one of the scariest people we worked with because Henry is so big and so strong and didn't know his own strength. But after we worked with them so many times, they became probably one of the easiest.
LOD.
Wow. If we're doing 1-word answers, just wow, just honored. Whenever we worked with them, I'll never forget. We just came back from a trip to Kuwait, and we were our first overseas trip as, you know, contract guys and stuff like that. And we come back and we're up at the up in New York at where they'd always tape Monday Night Raw, the Manhattan Center. And we walk in and we're all excited. We just came back. We were winning, you know, 50-50 on the tour and everything else. We're like, yeah, this is awesome. We find out they're making action figures of us. We're like, this is the best day ever. And then we look at the sheet. We're like, Headbangers versus LOD. We're going, oh my God, we're going to get killed. And then, so it was Animal takes us and he goes, come here, guys. So he goes, hey, we talked to Vince. He loves you guys. So we're going to do a double or a count out, a double DQ. But then we're going to do our finish on one of you. And me and Chaz both were like, I'll do it. And he won. But it was just so, you know, to be in the ring with them on their return back to Monday Night Raw and WWF and to not have them squash us. It was a wow moment. It was like, I want to say that might've been a moment where I knew that, you know, we were, I don't want to say special, but important and not like we belonged, you know, because, you know, we weren't getting squashed by this team that is legendary. And, you know, Vince was thinking of us enough to go, no, I don't want to squash them because I really like them and I like what they're doing. So let's do this. And, you know, I mean, I would feel that if I was LOD, I'd be like, no, we're going to squash them. It's our return back. That's what every return back, that's what happens. You come in, you're a ball of fire, you squish the shit out of somebody and you get your pop. So when Joe told us, he's like, yeah, he goes, we're going to do a count out, but then we're going to hit you with the finish and stuff like that and everything. And, you know, Vince really thinks highly of you guys and everything. So he wants to take care of it. I was just like, wow. Yeah. And then every time, you know, just being around them and stuff like that, with their history and, you know, just how they were and stuff like that, just, you know, Mike and they were awesome. Hawk and Animal were just one of a kind.
What about Furnas and LaFon?
It was weird because when we worked them, I knew them from Japan because they were very highly decorated in Japan and very, very over in Japan. They couldn't adjust, I guess, to the American style. of how it worked in the ring and stuff like that. So when they came in, from what we heard, they were actually, you know, scheduled to win the belts from Owen and Davey Boy and stuff like that. That's why they worked them so long and stuff like that. But they were so personality less, which made it hard for them to adjust, because back then it was characters. Everybody was a character back then. And just, oh my God, just Doug in the ring. He was so super strong. And Phil could just, you know, wrestle around in circles and just, you just be, all right, where'd he go? And he was so, they were so good. And that you didn't really, if you looked at them, they were like, all right, they're wrestlers, but they're wrestlers. They wrestle. So yeah, I was just surprised that they didn't last as long as they should have.
What about the New Age Outlaws?
We were actually their first match when they came together.
The boombox to your head, right?
No, that was, this is when they both came together. Their very first match together, when they introduced themselves, you know, what was Billy? Rockabilly, and then it was Road Dogg. They came together, and we were their very, very first match as a tag team.
Wasn't the finish
came later? No, the boombox I think came later. That's when we started doing stuff with them and everything else. We enjoyed working with them. Like, we really felt like we could have had long programs with them. You know, from the first time that we worked him, I mean, Billy's just a piece of cake to work with. Stiff, but just a piece of cake. I mean, we worked snug. And you know, just wrestling with Brian and stuff like that. He was another one that was just, you couldn't have a bad time in the ring when you were with Billy or Brian, because he always found a way to make you laugh or giggle or something like that. It was just a good time. You enjoyed working with them. Wish we could have did more with them.